It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out of my mind. It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. I'm putting you out, trash day, I'm putting you out of my mind. Now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up the house. I'm taking all your garbage, taking all your garbage, taking all your garbage.
It starts with some beer, so you shouldn't have fear. Two garbage guys with facts, but they both still have tact. It's that time at last for the best damn podcast. It's Can Crusher Day!
And welcome to another stellar edition of Can Crushers. I'm Mark Martinez. This is Chad Ferrana. I can't talk today because I made sausage. I didn't make sausage. Cheese, pepperoni, and I drank a minimum of a 30-pack, and my head feels like it's run over, Chad. That's my entrance.
Hey, now you know how I felt like ass last week.
Right? Awesome! But you were sick. I did it myself.
Yeah. No excuses.
No excuses.
No pain, no gain.
We're here. We're ready to go. And there's no other way to start this week's show as Jim Cornette back in the news. He's gone. Everybody knows what's going on. Now it's our thoughts. He quit. He was fired from NWA. We heard all of this because of, the exact statement was driving through Ethiopia with a bucket full of chicken or something like that.
Yeah, he was talking about the match, Trevor Murdoch and Nick Aldis. And Trevor Murdoch, yes, this is one from years ago in WWE, still wrestles very hard, very well. And Cornette stated Trevor Murdoch's so tough that he could ride through Ethiopia on a motorcycle with a bucket of chicken on his back.
Right. Should have been said. No. Does he say it all the time? You listen to, I know, this is where we're gonna have fights. In today's day and age, I will say wrong place, wrong time. He's got his podcast. Say whatever you want, like we can say what we want on it. I think with NWA being a new show, the masses that are just catching on to it, he shouldn't have said it. Okay?
Yeah, I'll agree. I don't feel that it's racist, a racist joke. I feel it's kind of in poor taste.
Yes.
But at the same token, I thought it was funny because I've heard it from him
30 years ago.
Back to like 1985. I think there's been things brought up, and I've been able to look up to where he used it. Today's day and age, like you said, not the best thing to do. But where my problem with it is, in him, yes, he quit, probably before he got fired, but where my problem with it is, and the big shit do about it, is the fact that Dave Lagana, the guy who's calling Cornette, at 8:30 in the morning the next day after this airs, and what the hell and bitching, he's the one that edits their programs.
Right.
And when Cornette asked him, and Lagana has said, yeah, this is what it was. Cornette asked him, well, what'd you think about it? Well, it went right over my head.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's what the thing is. And this wasn't recorded the night before or anything. This has been on their shelves. I can't remember exactly. I want to say middle of September they recorded these, because their first show wasn't until on YouTube until the beginning of October, right?
I think that they said it was like at least 4 months on the shelf.
So there you go.
The editing. So that's where my problem is with it. Personally, I don't think it's a big deal, but like you said, the NWA, they're starting back up. They're trying to get a fan base. They're trying to work with other people. They're and everything. I can see their point, but it's really crappy coming from the guy who edited the show, and then because of no place else but Twitter whines and bitches about it, then he goes on the attack on this.
That was my next thing. Many people have said it's AEW homers that were trying to rip Cornette completely apart, finding something so he loses his job, so he shuts up about AEW. That's not going to happen. He still has a microphone and a podcast with 605 and all those guys.
With Brian Last. Yeah, and it's not the AEW fans themselves, it's the fans of, and I'll say it nicely, the idiots like Orange Cassidy.
Right.
Jelly Janela.
Joey Ryan.
Marco Stunt. It's these fans that are pushing and have been pushing for Cornette's head on a platter because he tells it like it is. They're not good wrestlers. Their gimmick's stupid. They're bilking Tony Khan's money
right.
to put these guys on there. I mean, that Marco Stunt's like 120 pounds soaking wet.
My son weighs more than him.
And they have him in there like he should be in there as a squish.
Right. I completely agree.
And that's where the problem is that, yeah, it's coming from the AEW fan base, but it's the remarks about those wrestlers in particular, the people that have a problem with Cornette.
So that's one part of kind of what's going on in the news this week. But another one comes back around, and it loops back around because I thought it was a dead story 2 months ago. The Kelly Klein story in ROH. Like, social media, what she said on social media, she's gone, she's not gone, she has a no-compete clause. There's just, this whole story doesn't add up. There's something else behind this.
In the social media part, a part that's been added, you know, she supposedly said stuff on social media that pissed him off and everything. Now they're coming back, Ring of Honor's coming back and saying that she disclosed operating secrets and protocol to other potential employers that she was looking at, which she was free to do,
right?
But not give any kind of information out. And there's a big pissing about what is the reason? We got 3, 4, 5 different reasons.
She got a concussion now too, and
I think it's turning into a situation just like ACH and WWE, where they both mutually want a part, but they want the other one to be the bad guy,
right?
To be the problem.
And that's the way I was looking at this whole Kelly Klein one. Is they both want it, but nobody wants to be the first one to say, all right, screw it, I'm gone.
I mean, if they're going to keep, this goes from years ago, they're going to keep the Briscoes when they were on tape and on record of saying homophobic things and stuff like that. If they're going to keep them employed and everything like that, and no fines, okay, they wrote Jay, I think Jay had the title at the time. They had him lose the title. He got the title back like 6 months later.
I was going to say he was off for about 3 months.
Yeah, so don't there's something fishy about it. There's just something.
And it seems that a lot is happening around ROH like that. It's just, you see more and more stories of ROH, something this, something that, and you just, I don't know. There's something I can't put on my finger on that. Are they going downhill that fast? That this is the only news you're getting off of them?
Another thing that you just reminded me of a couple of months ago at ROH pay-per-view, your favorite wrestlers, Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, I hate you right now. You're not staying for the pay-per-view now.
See how he is, people? But they did like it looked like they were trying to fight with the Dudleys, I believe it was, and I can't remember who else in the pay-per-view. They came over the railing, and it was like,
oh,
cow,
God, yeah.
Are they
like
bringing
4 months ago.
Are they bringing them in? Was this just a stunt? If it was a stunt by them, why the hell was it shot? Well, now statements are coming out from Enzo, or whatever the hell he's named these days, saying that they were familiar with the guys in the Garden from their days in WWE, the security and stuff, and that Ring of Honor had no knowledge of this and everything, which I kind of find suspicious because, A, those two were never that damn big.
No.
To have pull anywhere except for maybe...
Especially the Garden.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Maybe the men's bathroom in the garden, but that's about it. And ROH, why did they not like have security go in on them?
Right.
Why did the wrestlers kind of interact with them? Why did they keep, the biggest thing, why did they keep filming? Why has this not been edited off if this wasn't a work?
Right. Exactly.
And that's where I'm like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get to see them next weekend.
Yay! I know you said you wanted to be in line
by 4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning so you could get their autograph first. I remember that.
Over Muda, over Iron Sheik, over
Dustin.
Kelly, over Dustin, over Al Snow.
Selena.
So, yeah.
I could see it being over Al Snow.
Yeah.
Kind of maybe.
Right, but geez, my God. Enzo and Cass at WrestleCade. I can't wait. We are actually really knocking it down, getting things set up for WrestleCade. Chad's got all 750 autographs booked that he wants to get. And as usual, I have no effing clue what I'm doing yet. So I'll just slide into it and say, hey, I like you. I like you. The girls there, they're like, we like you. We like you. We like you.
That's about how it's honestly going to roll for me outside. I only got one thing. One area I'm taking a replica belt of the NWA Championship down for autographs. The guys that I want to have autographed at are my target guys over a day and a half. But two of those guys we get off of one of our shows to autograph that we're going to, extra show. And then, of course, the Muda's the target.
Muda and Iron Sheik. If I do not get those two when I'm down in Winston-Salem, I'm not coming home. That's all it is to it. Staying down there. I will find Muda and Iron Sheik somewhere at Shoney's or something like that.
Iron Sheik likes what is it? Waffle House.
Waffle House.
Waffle House.
So, all right, that's all the kind of news that we just want to cover today. We're gonna shift over into an interview I had earlier this week with Cyril Yorns. You've heard the name before. Chad's giving me the finger. He wants to say something. Go ahead.
I just wanted to, guys, I wanted to clear something up that I said on last week's podcast because I didn't want anybody thinking, that I'm any more of an asshole than I am.
You are, though.
I made a statement when we were talking about ACH and WWE and them firing him and everything. I made a comment about it was the same thing with Rich Swann. Let me state, I was not speaking of Rich Swann being fired for his domestic abuse charges. I was speaking on more of a waste of talent before that happened. Because it's the same thing. You get these guys here that are so damn good in Ring of Honor or someplace else where they've really showed themselves on a national TV basis. And then WWE, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, WWE, more so Vince, pisses on them when he gets them. That's what I was referencing. I don't condone domestic abuse in any way. As soon as those charges come up,
out the door.
Yeah, he should have been out the door. I was just saying it's a waste of both of their talents is what they had in common. Nothing to do with their firings.
Look at that. Making his own corrections because the English professor is not helping him out. All right, back to the regularly scheduled program. We have an interview with Cyril Yorns. And Cyril gets into a lot of things, but why we have Cyril coming on the show is because December 14th in Clearfield, Pennsylvania, Code Red Wrestling and Asylum Pro Wrestling are doing a benefit for his family. So let's roll over in that interview. We'll take a break, and then Chad and I will be back to talk the week in wrestling, probably get our predictions out there, and a ton of other stuff. And joining me right now in Can Crusher Studio, a longtime friend of the show, a supporter of the show. I knew you before the show. It goes way back. You won our very first tickets to Asylum Pro Wrestling. Well, you didn't. Your son did because he's just much cooler than you.
Oh, yeah.
Cyril Yorns. Cyril, thank you for coming on the show. And there's a point to this, and we'll get to it in a minute. But let's talk some wrestling first.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. So, Cyril, let's tell everybody about when you began watching wrestling and who you really love back then. By the way, we have beers, so don't worry about that. Dogfish Head and the Natty Light, we're going to town.
So, wrestling was a big part of my life when I was a kid. My dad, back in the day when you would have to rent the cable boxes to watch pay-per-views.
PCI.
Yes.
Is what it was on.
All I remember was it was just this little box, and he just slammed it up on the TV, and then wrestling would magically appear, and I would love it. But anyway, it was like mid-'90s, like right when the Attitude Era was starting to grow and get big, and like I was a fan of, oh my goodness, Bret Hart. He was the first wrestler that I actually really liked. Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, The Rock, Nation of Domination. The Thrashers.
Headbangers?
Headbangers, there we go. Yeah, I could.
Mosh and Thrash.
Mosh and Thrash. Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. The kilt-wearing guys.
Right. I think you might be their only fan. I really do. They were all right. I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, I liked them.
Nice.
I like their style.
And you continued to watch it, but you kind of broke away from them a little bit, as we all do.
Yeah.
But we all stumble across an indie pro wrestling that we find and we like, and we kind of get back into it. Ours was IWC, Big Time Wrestling, and I told you about this Asylum Pro Wrestling that was coming to Clearfield, and you were like, holy hell, I might get tickets. I'm like, well, we're giving some away. Why don't you put your name in? Or I don't even remember what the contest was.
Yeah. I just remember you telling me, hey, put your name in. Maybe you'll win some free tickets. If you don't,
tough shit.
buy tickets and go.
Right. And you guys went.
Yeah.
And you sat with us. Sorry about that. But you really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it was Asylum Pro Wrestling, their very first one. Yeah. And we had no idea what to expect.
Yep.
And Zane hit it off right off the bat with Crazy Shay.
Oh, absolutely. He loves that. He loves Crazy Shay.
And Alora.
Yeah. Between him and Fleck.
Oh yeah, because we can't forget him.
No,
we can't
absolutely
forget him.
not. We gotta bring Fleck into the conversation because that kid adored him.
Right. And
he loved him as a heel. Loved him. And I don't know why. Like he didn't get mad, sad. He was happy. It's weird.
Right.
He just connected with him right away, but anyway.
And no, that's fine. Your story. And he was running amok, and it was fun. You just saw the energy.
Yeah.
And then he just transcended to all Asylum wrestling all the time.
Yes.
He wanted it there every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Shay, Fleck, let's make that happen. But, so, a year later, fast forward roughly, this is why you're on the show, and we'll get to the result of it. You and your wife are pregnant.
Yep.
And you have, and this is where you need to just run with the whole story. Yeah. You are expecting, and boom.
Yeah. So we were expecting our second child. Zane was our first one. And everything was going great until maybe about 20. She was about 20 weeks, and she got an ultrasound and everything. And we sat down with the doctors and everything, and they mentioned to us that the baby had already had a stroke. So at that point, so what happened with Zane is Zane did also have one. Well, they categorize it. It was like a hemorrhage brain bleed. So it's in the category of stroke. Anything that happens to the brain in utero, it's stroke right off the bat. So Zane's wasn't nearly as bad. But now with our daughter, hers was pretty significant. So fast forward to her being born, we already knew all this was happening, all this was going on, but we didn't know how bad it was really going to be, like the extent of like what was going to happen to her. So she was born. Her head was oversized, and what causes that? It's called hydrocephalus, and what that is it's just excess fluid on the brain. And to combat that, what they do is they put in a VP shunt, which is a really neat machine. They put it like somewhere in your brain between the I can't really think of where it's put, but it's put in between some of the like the brain matter that's already in the back. There. Yeah, it's like in the back on the right hand side is where hers is. So what happens there is that kind of just relieves the pressure of the fluid going onto her brain and everything. And like she was in the hospital, children's, for about I'm gonna say about a month. And when we went up the last time, we got the news that the doctors wouldn't be able to do much for her. I mean, all they were doing there, the nurses and everything, were they were pretty much just feeding her, keeping her comfortable. I mean, her head size went down, but all that shunt's really doing is just making her comfortable. Like, it's not like she has such little brain matter that there's such a big void in her head that fluid's always going to be there. That, like I said, that shunt's keeping her from being in pain. So what we have decided was we were going to bring her home and do everything for her at home, so we didn't have to keep going to the hospital, and she didn't have to stay in the hospital and keep getting, pricked, poked, prodded.
Right.
Like we could do everything at home that they could do in the hospital.
And is it just daily tests that you guys have to do, or like I'm
completely
so
new
to this?
What we have is, I know when everybody thinks of hospice, it's end of the line.
Right.
But really, it's not. In a way, it's not. But in a way, we don't know, because the doctor said she could have a week, she could have a month.
Each day is truly a blessing, and I'm not. That's a generic way of saying it. I'm sorry, but each day is a blessing with her.
Absolutely, every day is a blessing with her. It's just every day that we spend with her is something that we're going to treasure, no matter what happens for the rest of our lives. I mean, she is just wonderful. I mean, she's a happy little baby. I mean, her head is a little big, but
we're Facebook friends too. So
yeah,
the pictures, like the smile on her face is unbelievable, and she was smiling young.
Yeah,
I mean, at least to me, seeing pictures, the smile has been there young, and it's been amazing. It really has.
Absolutely, and it, like the doctors even said, she may not be able to see, hear, walk, talk, but the way she reacts when either me or Kayla or Zane go into the room, or when we turn on a light, you can see her eyes just kind of like flicker. Yeah, absolutely. And it just makes me believe that, maybe she, even if it's a little bit, she can use her senses. You know what I mean? So right now it's just keeping her with family, keeping her comfortable, making sure she's happy, and just making sure that she really has the life that we can give her, the best life that we can give her.
Right.
So, it's just, it's a blessing to have her. I mean, it's a test every day, just because, it weighs heavy on all of our minds. It's, I go to work and I'm like, what am I doing here? Maybe I should be at home with Liliana, but at the same time, you got to do what you got to do. Life gets in the way sometimes, and
I hear you.
It's just, it's rough, but
prior to bringing her home and everything, you had been, I don't want to say you quit your job, but you just told him, hey,
yeah,
I'll see you when I see you.
Yeah, pretty much. I took an FMLA, which is family medical leave. So what that is you pretty much take the leave of absence from work. You don't get paid, and we were making trips to Pittsburgh, like, if not every day, every couple of days. We were going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and
for a month.
Oh yeah.
Out of experience, I'm not saying anything, stepping on you, but out of experience, I know that sucks. It's fun to go to Pittsburgh, to go for wrestling, or to go shopping, or to go just to eat at Permane Brothers.
Yep.
But every day to Pittsburgh, that within itself, if you it's a 6-hour ride.
Yeah. Yep.
To spend 2 or 3 hours down there.
Yep.
I understand.
And there's times we just stay up in a room. Like there was, like if we had the extra time or somebody to watch Zane, because Zane couldn't go up because it was flu season, and he's under 12, so it's like, oh, we gotta have somebody to watch Zane while we go up, and that was tough on him too. So
yeah, because he's a big brother.
Yeah,
like,
he's fantastic. He's a big help. You got your sub shop on the corner. Like he's literally like the mafia guy, and Liliana's like the Italian sub he goes and gets every day. He covets that.
That's awesome. That's a great analogy.
I mean, he loves her to death. Like, he'll help change the diapers. He'll help feed her.
That's a plus.
Yeah.
That's one less thing you have to do.
It's fantastic. Just to see him grow and just be a big brother like that, it makes me happy.
To revert back to wrestling now, not to skip over that, but to revert back to wrestling now is why we bring you back around, because Asylum and Code Red Wrestling are putting on a show December 14th, and it's called A Christmas for One of Ours.
Yeah. Yep.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's a benefit for the Yorns family.
Right.
For
you guys.
A Christmas for our own.
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
absolutely
Oh, God,
what
I'm
it
going to
is.
get help from that.
That's okay. I got you. Don't worry.
All right. Yeah, but it's a benefit show for you guys. And before we jump back into that, you guys also have a GoFundMe page.
Yeah. So what I did just to help with going back and forth to Pittsburgh and stuff is
And guys, let me say real quick, this guy is a humble man. I had to bug him to come on to do this. Once he got here, I said, "Is your GoFundMe page still up?" And he instantly put his head down. And I said, "Cyril, I'm going to drag it out of you if I have to pay it up in beers to get it out of you."
Yeah.
But he's very humble. If there's somebody around the holiday season that you guys really, $5, $10, whatever, dig deep. This is somebody that, from experience and friendship, you can help them. All right, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, you're fine. Yeah, it's really heartwarming to see how many people really have donated, and like the small town that really does care. That's one thing I can say about where we live in Ridgeway. Everybody is
up everybody's ass, but in a good way.
In a very good way. They're very helpful. They're neighborly. Just all the support that we've received through all this is just, I can't explain in words how grateful that we are. But yeah, going back to the GoFundMe page, it's still up. If you go on my Facebook page, I still have a link to it up there. I don't know the link right off the top of my head, but like I said, if you go on the Facebook page, scroll through my page, you'll find a benefit for Liliana. I forget what I named it. You'll see it on my page. If you can donate, great. If not, give it a share. Just to help us out a little bit. Like I said, it's
in the bio too, guys. If you haven't read it, normally you should read what the hell the podcast is about. But it's actually in our bio this week that you guys will be able to jump right on to that and help support them.
Yeah, awesome. So, I was gonna say something else.
And you took a drink of beer.
I took a drink of beer first. Like I said, just the support from everybody. It's great. I'm not a guy to ask anybody for anything, but I just want to, right now I want to thank everybody in the area just for helping out. And even if it's just passing in a store and showing your support, giving me a hug, saying, hey, whatever you need, we're here for you. It means the world. And I just wanted to personally thank everybody for that.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
How much a hug can really brighten your day.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though I might be bawling my face off, I really appreciate everything that everybody's been doing. So
Asylum and Code Red Wrestling are having this show December 14th in Clearfield, Pennsylvania. Again, it's in the link. Benefit for you guys.
Yeah.
Guys, it's $15 a ticket. Again, we are not giving away free tickets to this one because it's a benefit. So suck it up, come out. All proceeds going to you guys.
Yeah. They told us everything that they make there will be going to us, which is amazing. I mean, those guys have been so supportive of us. We've been as supportive as we can for them. We love those guys. They're all like family to us. And
they really are.
It's really nice to know that we have support like that, to have friends and family like that to help us out in this tough time. I mean, everything that this is going towards is just making sure Liliana is going to live the best life that she can. And
you guys, honestly, are you guys going to be able to make the event?
Yeah.
One of you,
Oh, absolutely.
all of you, all right.
Absolutely. We are definitely going to be there.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like Mom and Lily are staying home, or you and Zane are coming, or if I'm just bringing Zane, because there was no way in hell Zane was not coming.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We're thinking about bringing Liliana. I'm not sure how she's going to take it, all the noise and stuff, but we plan on...
She'll hate Matt Bish.
Oh, absolutely. She will despise Matt Bish. I will tell her that. Whether she hears me or not, she is not going to like that cane walking SOB.
Right. That's good to know, because I have to work something out with Shay, but I want to see if I can work something out for Zane that night as well. Just Zane, not you. You're a big boy.
Yeah.
Zane is a little guy, and it would be if Shay will let me do it. I want to have a tag match with Shay. No, really not.
Oh,
no.
fine.
But have Zane come out and help me introduce somebody.
Oh, that would be... He would... Oh, that would make
I'm sure he would love that.
That would make his night.
The one person should be the one person, Crazy Shay or Fleck or both or whatever.
I mean, he has mic skills. I mean, I've heard him play with his wrestlers, and the way he introduces those wrestlers, I tell you what.
This might be my last gig, is what you're telling me?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry to say, but that kid is just fantastic.
So, all right. Guys, if you can, please, again, go on the GoFundMe page. Help out Cyril. If you can't do the GoFundMe page and you can come out to Wrestling December 14th in Clearfield if you're around our neck of the woods, that's awesome. If you don't like GoFundMe pages, damn it, get a hold of me at cancrusher69@gmail.com and we'll work something out. We really will. And Cyril, that's awesome. I hope this hits the masses and you can take another week off of work or something.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, we've been flyering too. I mean, we have flyers up all over town. I've even had my uncle flyer. I flyer.
Uncle Sam.
Yeah, Uncle Sam getting it done. I'm flyering. Kayla's flyering. It's just, it's really. I hope this really hits everybody. And I mean, I know it's a wrestling match. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it really should be. I mean, these guys are excellent performers. I mean,
right.
It's just amazing to see how much time and how much work they put into it. I mean, they really bust theirs to entertain us.
Right.
So, and it's not just for the benefit. I mean, it is, but just to see these guys wrestle and really, take on their own is really fun to watch. So
it's also a night out for you guys just to reset.
Yeah.
Lily there or not. If it's just the three of you, just to say we know Lily's fine with whomever.
Yeah,
you guys just to reset.
Oh yeah. Like a night to just maybe forget about it a little bit, just to clear our minds and have a good time with everybody. Like that's all we really want. So, definitely, it'll be nice to get out of the house for a little bit. Really forget about real life for a moment and just get into the wrestling scene.
All right. I don't know where to go after that. That was so heartfelt that I'm like, oh, damn it. But Cyril, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I mean, this was great, guys. Again, go to the bio, help out Cyril as much as you can. The holidays are coming up, and this family should be number one on your list.
Oh, well, I don't think it should be, but it's nice.
It should be.
It's nice of you guys to think of us, especially through the holidays. I know you guys have your own families and your own, your own agendas and everything. But it's really great for you guys to listen and really put an effort out there to help us out. It's very appreciated, and I'll make sure it will not go unnoticed.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey, this is Hardcore Hooven out of IWC in Pittsburgh, PA, and you're listening to the best podcast out there, Can Crushers.
All right, so now it's time for chat segment in the news, past, present, future news. If you know future news, that's awesome.
I'm good, but I'm not that good yet.
You just said that off air.
It sounded good as a show title.
Past, present, and future news.
Oh, I do got some future news. I do have.
We're going to replicate. All right.
Well, no, better than that. You know of it, but I'll talk about it. Okay, first up this week, let's have a little bit of a feel-good story here, wrestling. This come out of St. Louis, Missouri, February 27th, 1953. We're dating way back here. Union Fuss bus-up wrestling match. And what the deal was is the promoter, Sam Munchnick, in St. Louis was putting on a huge card. We're talking all the NWA champions, the regional champions, everything like that. They're talking back in these days, this is going to be a 30 grand, 40 grand gate. Equivalent today would be an average gate for an average house show, but you got to think back then. But anyway, what the deal was is that the union, the electric union back then, wasn't getting paid. So there was worries about, hey, is there going to be people here to operate the lights, everything like that? Well, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Well, when it come down to time for it, right as the announcer was going out, the union guys walked off, left all the wrestlers there, the promoters who had nothing, no business, no mind, no information how to run anything and stuff like that. Well, needless to say, it started kind of a riot. There was a lot of damages in that. But the part that I want to focus on is the promoter, Sam Munchnick, was going to pay all the wrestlers out of his own pocket.
I do remember this.
And, because it was like, hey, I'm the promoter. I brought you guys here. It's on me. The wrestlers who were, I don't have the gentleman's name down here, but they picked a representative and they went back to Sam and said, we don't want paid. We're not going to take it out of your pocket. This isn't your fault. We can't fault you. And this is, wrestlers that have traveled and even travel. Yeah, gasoline was obviously way, way cheaper then and everything like that. But it was still a bit to travel,
right?
A couple of hours to the place. But it just goes to show this guy is a promoter, how loved he was by the wrestlers and respected he was. They refused to take payment.
That's unbelievable.
From him.
Let me know a wrestler now that's going to refuse to take payment.
Yeah. I mean, even if now the thing is, hey, I don't care if I wrestle or not as long as I get paid.
Right.
A lot of them. But it was just kind of something, with the day and age and how all the federations and everything, there's, fighting amongst everybody that back then, in a lot harder times and everything, wrestlers were basically incurring the cost of traveling if they weren't local.
Right.
And they were going to do this. They did this for this guy.
That's pretty cool.
Promoter.
That's pretty cool. What else you got?
Okay, do we want Elvis or baseball?
Baseball first.
Okay, baseball.
Elvis has left the building.
Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
In when he was at the height of his popularity for about 3 years in the Mid-South, used to buy in the old Mid-South, well, what became the Mid-South Coliseum. It was at a different arena name. It just changed, got rebuilt. But he used to buy for his family and friends entire sections of ring seats for the wrestling because he loved wrestling. And when I'm saying entire sections, I'm not talking like
a row.
I'm
You're
World War
talking-
II. I'm talking like, okay, there's if you look at a ring, there's 4 sections.
A, B, C, and D.
He would buy the whole entire A section. We're talking
Hundreds of seats.
hundreds of seats, upwards of,
Thousands.
1,000 to 1,500, depending on what kind of show they were putting on. And his favorite wrestler back then was a guy that they named, that Jerry Lawler got his name from, the King. I forget the gentleman's name, and I did not write it down, but he liked the whole stick of being king and being on top. He's like, I'm a badass just like he is.
Oh, that's
type
cool.
deal there. And it was a local wrestler. He didn't have a very long career. I just remember it was about a 2-year carear, but that was his favorite wrestler. And he'd spend out all this money
Just to go see this guy, Rocky King, so to speak,
And it would be what would be considered a hometown hero nowadays. Like I said, you're talking thousands of dollars. He'd pay for their food, pay for their drink. Afterwards, have them over to the hotel if they had travel plans. No, I'll take care of that. He took care of their travel plans the next day if they'd stay the night on his own, private bus or plane or anything like that. So Babe Ruth, huge wrestling fan.
All right, great transition because his favorite was a king. Now you can talk about the king.
The King. And this is out of Chicago, 1956, Associated Press. Elvis Presley was offered to referee matches $10,000 for a card.
Holy shit.
Now,
that's
again,
huge money then.
Back then, you're talking 56, you're probably talking 4 times that. It would be, $50,000, $60,000 or more these days. The promoter was Fred Kohler, who was a huge Elvis fan. He knew Elvis loved wrestling and figured he's going to offer him money, bring him in. What the hell better thing in Memphis than to have Elvis Presley
as a referee or anything.
You're guaranteed
Gets involved.
You're guaranteed a sellout no matter where where you go there, whatever stadium. Well, they're going back and forth, and then they got just negotiating things with another promoter, and that to get Elvis in. They'd sneak Elvis in. Guy Coffey was the guy's name. Another Mid-South Coliseum story. He would bring Elvis in so he could watch these cards, but he had a special spot,
like a hidden away.
Yeah, hidden off back a little bit, raised, and where Elvis could watch out of the curtains or whatever. So they got the idea, instead of bringing him in for refereeing matches, why not bring him in to fight a new up-and-comer wrestler that started his shtick, as you say, being named the King of Wrestling. Any idea who this is?
Lawler,
Jerry the King Lawler, as we know these days. These were within the first couple of years of Jerry's career, and this is how the respect that he had. That was Elvis's favorite wrestler. He went on record saying that he loved him and anything. They're like, let's bring the kings together. Let's have a fight of the kings. How much money is that going to make? That's going to make more than the referee. Yeah. So they started negotiating with Elvis's manager, who was, come on now, he's a manager that we're going to meet at WrestleCade. Not the same guy, but a manager, Colonel Rob Parker.
Oh, yes.
That's where he got his name from.
Nice.
Was Elvis's real manager. So they actually had set up the date and card and everything like that where Elvis was going to wrestle Jerry Lawler. Unfortunately, Elvis passed away from his issues. Roughly, they said it was 4 to 6 weeks before the match was going to take place. And Jerry Lawler has said before about this was one thing that he's always regretted, because if he would have if Elvis would have been given 6 more months, he would have got to wrestle
Jerry, his favorite person.
Yeah, he would have got to wrestle his favorite person. He would have got to wrestle his favorite singer.
That's cool. I like that one. All right. Wait, you got something else?
I got two quick things.
Okay.
We're talking money here. guys that are worth, I looked this up, a couple of different sources. Harley Race, at the time of his death, was worth $600,000. Ric Flair, how much do you think he's worth? And all these are as of last year.
As of last year.
Just take a shot.
600 for Harley. $1 million for Flair.
Flair is worth $3 million.
Okay.
Hogan, 25. Jerry Lawler is worth more than Ric Flair. Jerry Lawler is worth $7 million. The highest paid wrestler these days that's under an actual contract,
Triple H.
Kurt Angle was the highest paid. Triple H is worth more than Angle.
That's what I was going for.
But that's because of his business things. At the time of his death, Andre the Giant, worth $10 million.
Holy my.
Now, there's one wrestler that should be the easiest to think of, the highest paid wrestler / celebrity.
The Rock.
The Rock. By far, $190 million.
And that's all against celebrity stuff.
And here's something I found. This is kind of where I was going, talking about the refs thing and that. An experienced referee in the federations and average, an experienced referee, which means 3
to 5
years. 3 or more years, is only paid $200,000.
Wow.
An inexperienced referee, your basic ham and egger or whatever, $30,000.
Wow. Cool facts.
But the one thing, talking the future, I got you on that one. Little known fact, and this was given to me by the owner of AJ's Belts, who does replica belts, is that the new NWA tag titles, what are
the now titles,
now titles, the ones with the NWA now, and
with
basically
Wildcard
are
right now,
and basically are replicas of years past in honor of those. Those will be available for sale in 2 weeks. Whoop, whoop. $430 a piece or $800 for a set.
That's a little high right now.
And let me tell you, these belts are the sharpest thing that I have seen of any of the belts. Genuine leather, everything is handcrafted, hand etched. The pictures the pictures make them look great. I can't imagine what they're going to look like in person.
Nice. All right, here comes John. We'll be back to talk AEW, SmackDown, Raw, War Games, and then make some quick predictions on this shithole show match tonight.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley kicked Goldust in the midsection and set up for the pedigree. Owen Hart cheered Helmsley on before bouncing off the ropes and hitting a spinning heel kick on the Greenwich Blue Blood. Hunter rolled out of the ring to recover, leaving the Intercontinental Champion to put Goldust away. As Owen took a wild right swing, Goldust ducked and hit Hart with the curtain call. Special guest referee Pat Patterson counted the 3 and awarded the Intercontinental Championship to the Bizarre One. Brian Pillman jumped in the ring to tell Patterson that he missed Hart's foot on the bottom rope and pleaded with him to reverse the decision. When Patterson said his ruling would stand, Pillman lost all reasoning and pushed the winner of the Rio de Janeiro tournament. Patterson retaliated in kind and knocked Pillman to the mat. Cooler heads prevailed as Earl Hebner and President Monsoon approached the ring to confirm Pillman's story, and Goldust was therefore, ironically, the victim of a dusty finish. Once the match resumed, Hart hit a gut-wrench suplex on Goldust and applied the sharpshooter, leaving himself open to a devastating clothesline by Hunter. The match took the basic concept of 2 men wanting the belt and added a new element. A third man wanted the belt. I have never been a fan of the triple threat, fatal 4-way, or any other match that has more than 2 parties vying for a victory, with the exception of a battle royal type match. I still love battle royals. But this match on the June 23rd, 1997 edition of Monday Night Raw was brilliant. It was the first triple threat match in Monday Night Raw history, and it set a high bar. Of all the triple threat or fatal 4-way matches I have seen, this one remained my favorite. An honorable mention goes out to the 2-fall triple threat match from WrestleMania 2000, in which Kurt Angle lost both the Intercontinental and European titles without ever being pinned or submitted in either fall, as his challengers Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho exchanged victories. Throughout the rest of the match, we saw three competitors fighting to keep either of the opponents from victory. And it wasn't always the obvious. Owen and Hunter to team up on Goldust until there was a disagreement between them or a reason for them to fight. They all just fought one another. As Owen and Hunter put the boots to Goldust, Hunter suddenly, without provocation, kicked Owen in the jimmies. And why not? He used one of his opponents to help pummel their mutual opponent. Then, when the opportunity presented itself, he eliminated his other adversary. Hunter wanted to win. He tucked Goldust's head and prepared for the pedigree. Owen raised his hands triumphantly, seemingly cheering on his fellow bad guy before hitting the ropes and cracking the snobby aristocrat with a spinning heel kick. A back brain kick, or an enziguri as the cool kids are calling it these days, dropped Triple H. Owen went for the pin. Goldust flew off the top rope with an elbow, but Owen moved, allowing Goldust to come crashing down on Helmsley. Owen threw Goldust out of the ring and used the Hollywood Stars damage to get the easy pin on Helmsley. I mentioned earlier that this triple threat match remained my favorite. I didn't say it remains my favorite. That's because the opening match on Friday Night SmackDown moved into first place as my all-time favorite triple threat match. Theoretically, there was nothing at stake Friday night other than pride. There were no championships up for grabs, and with all three women competing on different brands, a victory would not catapult any of them in their respective rankings, nor would a loss drop them any number of rungs down the ladder. And yet, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Sasha Banks fought with such determination and urgency that it seemed as if their very careers were on the line. Just like the match with the fellas 22 years earlier, the ladies blurred the lines of good guys and bad guys as they all went at each other. Although they all worked for companies covered under the WWE umbrella, I truly believe that they were fighting for brand bragging rights. I do not wish to engage in hyperbole, but to me this match felt as though Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, and Nick Bockwinkel were thrown into a ring in the summer of 1986 and told only one champion could emerge. The ladies did not kick out of pins just before the third competitor could make the save. Instead, they trusted one another to be where they were supposed to be, making us believe the match would have ended had the third participant not broken up the count. The result was exciting, logical, but sometimes surprising storytelling that built up to a crescendo. While Sasha argued with her Survivor Series teammate Nikki Cross outside the ring, Ripley seized the opportunity to brawl with the boss. Reminiscent of when Goldust and Triple H were throwing rights and lefts at each other and Hart jumped off the top rope and caught them both with a dropkick, the ladies took it one step further. Seeing her two opponents exchanging fists, Charlotte climbed to the top rope and hit a moonsault on both women on the arena floor. Neither the flying move in 1997 nor the one from Friday night were perfect, but they were believable. Nothing is more annoying than wrestlers standing there, arms outstretched, waiting to catch a flying opponent. Owen and Charlotte both went for it, and the end result was glorious chaos and violence. The Queen slapped a figure four leg lock on her old foe and transitioned it into the figure eight. It looked like it was another win for this wonder woo-man among women wrestlers when Ripley snagged Flair into a beautiful crucifix. Flair was unable to release the figure eight and used her lower body to kick out of the pin within the 3 allotted seconds, giving the win to Ripley and NXT. The correct wrestler won this match. Ripley needed this win more than the established stars, multiple-time champions, and faces of their brands. Ripley more than held her own, and if there were any nerves on her part being thrust into the big time, they did not show, as her body language led me to believe that she not only felt that she belonged in the conversation with the likes of Flair and Banks, but she truly believed she was the best competitor in the match. The final bell proved exactly that. The rest of SmackDown was a solid go-home show and helped to build anticipation for War Games and Survivor Series, even if some of it was too formulaic and overbooked. Roderick Strong's World Series-style celebration following the Undisputed Era's win reminded me of Tully Blanchard's jubilation whenever the Horsemen would steal a victory. Adam Cole and company were also great, but the main reason this wasn't my favorite match of the night was no fault of theirs. It just happened to be in the ring with heavy machinery. I hope this Survivor Series isn't the end of the brand wars with the women's divisions. I'd enjoy seeing some of the NXT women continue to compete against the main roster women. Maybe some unification matches are in order, with one women's champion traveling across brands. In today's English Tip of the Week, we'll look at the difference between who and whom. On Friday Night SmackDown, before introducing us to their partners, Big E wondered aloud with, who the New Day would be teaming. But Big E should have been asking with whom? 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 How do we know when to use who, and how do we know when to use whom? Use who when referring to the subject of the sentence. Use whom when referring to the object of a verb or a preposition. To simplify it, if you can use he or she, use who. If you can use him or her, use whom. For example, at WrestleMania 11, Owen Hart introduced us to Yokozuna as his mystery partner. And the two of them went on to squash the Smoking Guns for the Tag Team Championship. Before the match and the announcement of his partner, would one of the boys in the back ask Owen, who is your tag team partner tonight? Or whom is your tag team partner tonight? Is there a preposition? No. There's no preposition anywhere in the sentence. And if we replaced Yokozuna with a pronoun, would we say, he is Owen's partner, or him is Owen's partner? Obviously, we would say, he is Owen's partner. And according to our two rules, since it is not the object of a preposition, and we can use he instead of him, then the answer is who. One of the boys would ask Owen, who is your partner tonight? But let's suppose the genius was there as a guest, and he wanted to use a preposition in his sentence. Would he ask Owen, with who are you teaming tonight? Or would he ask him, with whom are you teaming tonight? With is a preposition, and the word that follows is the object of the preposition. So the answer is who. Keep in mind, ending a sentence with a preposition is not grammatically incorrect, so the genius could ask, whom are you teaming with? But since with is a preposition, the pronoun is still the object of that preposition, and you still need to use whom in this circumstance. In one final example, J.J. Dillon was sure that the Midnight Rider was Dusty Rhodes. If we asked him, he'd tell us so. But would we ask him, Mr. Dillon, who do you believe the Midnight Rider really is? Or, Mr. Dillon, whom do you believe the Midnight Rider really is? Keep in mind, the pronoun we're going to use, who or whom, is the object of the verb believe, not the subject of the sentence. Also, if JJ saw Rhodes and pointed, would he point to him and say, it's he, or would he say, it's him? In each case, it's him. With the pronoun him, we use whom. So we'd ask J.J. Dillon, Mr. Dillon, whom do you believe is really the Midnight Rider? And with that, class,
you're dismissed.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the East End villain, Josh Ashcraft, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
All right, well, it's time to actually recap wrestling from this week. It's way at the end of the show this week because a lot has been going on. Raw and SmackDown, we'll jump there first, just because that's where my notes start. Raw, there wasn't much for me again. It's the invasion. Like, I really can't wait till tonight's pay-per-view is over and they get back to normal freaking storylines. I hate the invasion. I'm done with it.
I kind of like it as a once-a-year type thing. The only problem, they're just overdoing it. It's like, okay, who's coming down the aisle next?
Right. I mean,
and it doesn't make any sense when the Shield was doing this stuff.
Right.
They're coming through. They're coming through the audience. You know, like the NXT guys are. It's not set up. They're just coming in and they were just beating the hell out of whoever was in the ring.
Almas and Seth was a great match.
Yeah.
And then you have it broken up with the Lucha fucking house party. Yeah. There's my F for the show. The Lucha house party breaks this match up. These guys can't sniff either one of their jocks. And why it's stupid. It's absolutely stupid.
And are they in Survivor Series tonight?
They're just part of the brand supremacy. Do you really give two shits about SmackDown that much? WWE's paying your bill. SmackDown's not.
Yeah, it's false. I can see the kind of point behind it. It's kind of like I said last week, like the military branches will pick on each other, but don't somebody outside screw with you type thing. I can see that part of it, but they're just overdoing it. It's just too much. It's like the first year when they brought up a couple of NXT girls and I'm sorry, it was a SmackDown when they came in and attacked all the girls on Raw, and then the girls on Raw got at them on SmackDown, and that was it. Now it's like they've been doing this for 3 weeks,
almost 4 now, just rolling
it's just
back
like,
and forth.
oh my god, it's like, you know, I love seeing Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish come down and kick somebody's ass, but it's just getting kind of old now.
I'm glad. And it's not making sense, like the Lucha House Party doing it. Or KO and Drew, another great match. Interrupted, and then you guys know if you watch War Games, and we'll get to it, KO is offered to come back down to NXT, and he just walks away from Triple H. That was a cool storyline. I like that. But Drew just disappeared. They go to commercial, and boom, Drew's gone. Nothing. No, who won the match? Nothing. I don't know. Again, to each of their own. If you actually liked Raw, good for you. Smackdown, you heard the English professor talk about the Triple Threat women's match, and we talked a little bit as the English professor was talking. This was a great match.
Yeah.
It really was.
It really showed their, for what they could on a TV show, their talents were in that, because they're all three of them are good
generational wrestlers.
Yeah, good to great wrestlers, and I think the right person won that match. I think if you had Charlotte or Sasha win it, it would have pissed all over NXT last night and the Survivor Series. It would have just ruined everything.
Sammy and Shinsuke, I don't know what the hell is going on with this. Is trying to get matches. Daniel calls out Bray. Are you excited to see Daniel Bryan against Bray Wyatt tonight?
Not really, because they're not going to be allowed to have the match that they could. They're both good wrestlers. They can whichever way you want to take it, but I don't see them letting them do what they would need to do to have a really good match on a pay-per-view, because we all know Vince doesn't like smaller guys.
Right.
And he doesn't like the technical wrestling and stuff like that.
If they're wrestling in the red light tonight, I'm turning the TV off.
They are. That is what was put on Pro Wrestling Illustrated and WrestleZone, that it's going to be in the red light.
Why? Why?
Evidently, it's supposed to add to his creepiness. Although
I would have liked to see the Blue Blazer wrestle in a blue light then. Why didn't we do that back then? Well, there wasn't lighting back then. So that was Raw and SmackDown, kind of really nothing but invasions.
Right.
And again, another reason why I'm pissed about the invasions is one per show is enough. But they're not having one per show. There's two from the two matches that we announced on Raw.
There's a women's match. There's a singles invasion.
There's just way too many.
Tag team division every so often.
So AEW then on Wednesday, you saw the rankings from AEW. They actually lost this week to NXT, which whatever. It was a good show. I liked it for what it was. Britt's really getting her ass beat. Like, legitimately, she got a concussion a couple months ago. Now she's got a broken nose. She's just really getting her ass beat recently. Yeah,
she's whether it's the wrestlers, the female wrestlers aren't in tune or whatever. There's a lot of botches. The one where she got her nose broken, her eye blackened. It just looked bad. It reminded me of the Brie Bella kick on who was it? Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
From last year, whatever. It just looked rusty. It just doesn't. They just don't look in tune.
Did you like this battle royal? No, you didn't, did you? I see it in your face.
No, I'm like it was another thing. You had the idiots in there like Orange Cassidy, who either get in the ring and wrestle or shut up. You put your hands in. Ooh, you can do a kip up. That's not wrestling.
Right. I do like that it came down to MJF and Hangman Page to fight for it next week. Two of my favorite wrestlers in AEW right now are those two.
Right.
Jericho with Hager, just kind of poking the bear again. Luchasaurus, we talked about this last week, that they're rushing him back. He looked rusty again this week. He really did. Just
stiff. Very stiff.
And that Mox against Darby wasn't as good as it could have been.
They didn't give that enough time.
Yeah.
In my view, and it just kind of you knew who was going to win.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was pretty much a given who was going to win, but they just didn't give it enough time, and it just looked like a spot fest. Although I will say that DDT off of the rope that Moxley put on him, that looked bad.
That did look bad.
It looked like he killed him.
Again, that's AEW. Nothing great. It wasn't a super terrific week in wrestling until we get to last night's War Games. 4 matches on the card. That's it. Boom. NXT. You have the women's War Game match. You have Pete Dunne against Damian Priest and Killian Dane. Riddle against Balor. And then the men's War Game match. Let's do them in the way that we like them. So, worst to first.
And this is, at least from my point of view, when I say worst, this is by default. The way I'm looking at it, because all the matches were really good.
No, they were all 4-star matches.
There was just
at least 4-star.
2 matches that myself, I wasn't personally invested in.
And I'm on the same page with you.
I'd probably put the worst being the 3-way match.
See, I like that better. That I can't stand Riddle. I can't. I cannot get into anything he's trying to sell.
It's all hype.
Yeah.
I mean, great athlete, everything like that. Yeah, could they put him over? But he's just not. Other than the stupid bro chant down to the ring, it doesn't seem like people are connected, and I'm not connecting with them.
I'm not either. In Balor's first match on NXT, the writing was on the wall there that he struggled to get the win, but he still gets to win because the Prince is back.
Yeah, and I guess I liked the Balor match more just because I know Finn Balor. We've seen him wrestle. We've seen him have really good matches long through in NXT. The 3-way match for the number 1 contender, I just was like, It's like, it was a good match, action-packed, but I just didn't really care who wins it because I know that no matter who won it, they're not going to beat Adam Cole for the title.
Right.
So it was kind of like...
I'm actually bummed that Pete Dunne did get the win. I would have rather seen the one-off with Killian Dane or Punishment Martinez or whatever the hell, Damian Priest or whatever. I would have rather seen the one-off with one of them instead of having Pete Dunne, who... We've seen this match already.
Yeah. Up and through, from when he won the United
NXT, UK title.
UK title. You've seen him. I think this could have been an opportunity to put somebody else in there. I don't think Punishment Martinez, as much as I like him, I don't think he would have been a good choice to win this match because then you have the big, tall, hulky guy against Adam Cole, and they've done so much to protect Adam Cole and his image. So, yeah, I mean, I guess you could have gone. I would have rather seen Killian Dane win it than anybody, just for some fresh faces.
And then, just because 4 people usually take out 2 people, I put the women's match 3. As it, I like the twist. I love that Dakota Kai beat the living shit out of Tegan Nox. Now, don't get me wrong. I love both of those girls. I think they're great in the ring and everything. I'll say what I want to say at the end of everything about the whole gist of the pay-per-view. We already said it to each other, but I like this. But what I didn't like is Candice didn't do much. She did something.
She took an ass beating that entire match.
Yeah, she took an ass beating. She did do a superplex off the top rope. I don't even remember. I didn't write notes. But Rhea Ripley got the win.
Right.
She destroyed everybody. She destroyed everybody and got the win because she only had 2 people on her team. In essence, she only had herself on the team.
And I think they're, we talked about this before, I think they're pushing her. I mean, there's an obvious push to anybody watching it, but I think they're really high on her for some reason and going to push her through to the main roster. My thought is they're kind of souring a little bit on Shayna Baszler because the last 2 months or so, they've made her look so
weak,
vulnerable.
Yeah.
They made her look...
Better word.
Yeah, she itches out the win, but they made her look vulnerable when she first had the title. She was just decimating people.
Well, this brings a question to you. As this week, Ronda Rousey said she retired from the WWE. She is having kids, this, that, and the other thing. Ronda's been out of the news for a little bit. Is Ronda coming back?
I think she's going to be back because again with this Shayna Baszler thing and Ripley, I think they're pushing Ripley to come up through, be the dominant, and probably come into NXT. And what's it been, 5 years they've been talking about the horsewoman thing and everything. So, okay, if you move Baszler out of there, get her up on the main roster, then you can do this horsewoman angle that gives Charlotte something, that gives
Becky Bailey,
that gives the big names all something to be in on, whether it's singles matches, whether it's tag matches, whether it's a 4-on-4 at the Royal Rumble. It sets up the Women's Royal Rumble of two women's factions.
You need to take the title off of everybody involved. If this is going to happen for a month or so, and we don't know, we're speculating. If this is going to happen for a month or so, Becky doesn't need a title, Bailey doesn't need a title, Shaw, none of them need titles because we want this feud. So now you can bring back up Alexa Bliss as a champion, or somebody else to give them a shine again, because where are they?
Now see, I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I think for them to start this angle off right, they got to have a champion on each side. Reason being, you have, what was the Four Horsemen's sole purpose?
Well,
collectively, I think, guard the title. And then that's how you start the angle off. Touching back to the history of the Four Horsemen or the Dangerous Alliance or any other one. Your big guy that had the title, you protect them.
Yeah.
I think that's the way they need to go with it. But that's just...
Touche. No, I like it. But I'm just saying that they're all big enough. Even the lower horsewomen of the MMA don't need titles for this to make a shit ton of money.
Right.
Again, I just didn't like that Ripley did everything. Then you get to the men's, and the surprise being KO is now back in NXT.
But is he?
Oh, yeah. His shirt had KO NXT on it.
Well, he could have done that with tape like he's done his other shirts.
Yeah, I know, but still, I'm
saying. I'm honestly glad it was him. I was really pulling for John Morrison to make a return, just because I thought it would have been a hell of a, way to bring him back in. But I think KO makes sense because he is another one that is on the main rosters that has honestly been misused for the longest time.
Yeah, for sure.
Whenever your main feud for the year is against Shane McMahon, that, you're a big star, but you're also,
not doing much.
Not going to do much.
All right, so transition over. Oh, this is what I want to say about NXT War Games. And I said this to you. I didn't like that the champs took both of the pins.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been.
Because it ruins now Adam Cole for tonight in my book, and even Baszler, even if they're souring on her or whatever, somebody else could have taken that pin so she doesn't lose twice in 2 days. Because I don't see her winning. I don't know. Unless all hell breaks loose.
Are we going to talk about Survivor Series?
We're pulling it up.
I'll hold my comments for that then.
I'll pull it up. All right. We are just going to go in the order that is on this website. So no rhyme or reason. Actually, some of them aren't really going to matter. Brock Lesnar against Rey Mysterio Jr. No holds barred, no disqualification.
It's no doubt Lesnar's going to win. I don't think there's any doubt.
Cain Velasquez gets involved.
Does he?
Yeah.
Or here's an off one. Ray's son makes a return back and screws Ray.
That'd be great. I said I wanted that since he came back. I think it's going to be Velasquez, just because they're going to have a tag match. It's already been announced. Ray and Velasquez against Brock and I think you. I don't know.
I won't team with Brock.
Okay.
I would team with Enzo and Cass first.
Great. We've already touched kinda on Bray Wyatt against Daniel Bryan. I'm probably going to sit in the bathroom the whole time so I don't have to watch a red light. Women's Championship, Lynch, Baszler, and Bayley.
Who needs to win this match?
Nobody.
Baszler.
Well, yeah, she does.
Versus any of them, Baszler needs to win this match. Absolutely, who doesn't need to win this match?
Becky.
And I hate to say it because Becky's my favorite female wrestler. Becky.
Yeah.
Bayley would be a
surprise.
A safe point, because Bayley wins in that, they're starting to get the crap off of her back of not being aggressive, not winning the really big ones, blah, blah, blah. The safe bet, I think, is Bayley. Yeah. If I was going to put money on it and bet, just because I'm a betting person, I'd go with Baszler in this one, because this could really get the stink off of last night.
Well, you have...
And propel her up.
Right. And this is perfect. If they're going to do the horsewomen thing, you have two of the wrestling ones in the match.
Right.
Your other ones are there as well. Sasha's going to be there tonight. People are going to be there. Baszler's there. Ronda just popped up in the news this week. So, it can happen. This is where I think nobody wins this match. It's going to get thrown out. Shit's going to come down with this match.
I hope not, because then it's nothing more than the angles that they've had for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Right. Mid-card championships. AJ against Shinsuke against Roderick Strong.
I'm going to call the upset. I'm going to say, in my mind, there's no doubt that Roderick Strong's going to win this match.
I'd be all right with that. Another point, what do you think of the new Intercontinental title?
I'm kind of warming up to it. I kind of like it.
I hate it.
It's not as flashy. It's not, the big blue or the big red. It reminds me of the older titles, like the North American title. It reminds me of the AEW title. And looking, is it too busy? Yeah, but I don't like all the unnatural freaking colors and crap on
and the
it.
strap, I could give a shit about it. It could be. I'm just saying, the plate is the thing that really bothers me.
It's too busy, but
Dominic D'Angelo said it perfect on Facebook when I tagged it and everything. That's a new title now. The IC title is there, yes. The lineage is there, but that is the title that air quote Pat Patterson won in Rio de Janeiro or whatever.
It never.
It didn't really happen. Whatever. They just made this title. But the people who have held this, Steamboat, Macho, The Miz, the names that are IC champions, Tito Santana,
Valentine,
they held that title. Now this title is, it's the IC title, but there's no history to that title now. And that's where I'm pissed. I'm like, stop changing titles. All right. Men's tag team match, you have the War Raiders against New Day or Undisputed Era. I'll be mad if Undisputed Era don't win.
My favorites would be Undisputed Era. Love them since Ring of Honor when I first seen them many years ago. I think the bet is gonna be the War Raiders, because they've kind of crapped on them a little bit lately, having them lose the world's greatest tag team tournament in Saudi. And that the New Day, the only reason the New Day's in this match is entertainment value. That's the only reason that they won the titles last time.
And one of them's taking the loss.
Yeah. I think one of the New Day takes a loss.
Yeah.
Would I love it to see O'Reilly or Fish win?
Yes.
Yes. Realistically, I think it's going to be the War Raiders.
Yeah, I do too. Men's Survivor Series elimination match. Team Raw is Rollins, Owens, Orton, Drew McIntyre, and Ricochet against SmackDown's team of Roman, Corbin, Shorty G, Ollie, and Braun. And NXT has not announced their team yet.
Think about the Owens angle. He's a team member of Raw, but this is something involving NXT guys.
Right.
I think there's going to be an angle that's going to be played out. Roman Reigns, I think it's about time for him to get a win. So I think his team's going to get it. And when you have him and Braun on the same team, there's going to have to be some major screw jobs for those two to both be taken out. Unless they, and God forbid this thing, I pray. Let's not have Roman screw up and hit Braun, or Braun screw up and hit Roman, and then they fight and get each other out. Been there, done that. It sucked.
Right.
Get away from it.
Predictions about anybody from NXT. Riddle.
I think Riddle. I think
Balor.
Tommaso Ciampa, I think, is another one.
If he's not, that's stupid.
He would be stupid.
Punishment?
Maybe Damian Priest, a.k.a. Punishment Martinez. And what's that?
Keith Lee.
Or
Dijakovic
or whatever.
Yeah. There we go.
D.
I agree that one of the main... I agree SmackDown's going to win. I can't disagree with what you got going on. All right, the women is Charlotte, Natty, Kabuki Warriors, and Sarah Logan from Raw. SmackDown is Sasha, Carmella, Dana, Lacey, and Nikki Cross. Against NXT is Rhea Ripley, Candice, Bianca, Io, and Toni Storm. I'll go first, and just because of what we've said earlier, I don't see NXT not winning this.
Yeah, they definitely should. If NXT, and this is what I was saving from the previous thing, if they bury NXT in this, if NXT doesn't win at least 2 matches tonight, they're burying NXT, and it is going to hurt them. Now, then what 2 matches, and who do you sacrifice? I think this match would be number 1. Because it doesn't, after this, who cares about this match?
Right.
There's no titles on the line. There's no title versus title. I think this match is the absolute one, and I'm assuming it's going to be early in the card.
Oh, I would imagine.
That is going to set the tone for how NXT goes tonight.
Yeah. NXT Championship match, Adam Cole against Pete Dunne. We talked about this already. And then this is probably going to be on the pre-show, and hopefully we're eating during it because it's Angel Garza against Lio Rush for the Cruiserweight title, and I don't care.
No, not really interested. Lio Rush is a good mouth. They're both good athletes, but
there's nothing. Yeah,
there's no history, no nothing behind it.
All right, side bet between me and Chad. How long do you think this pay-per-view is? It's one of their big ones. I don't think it's one of their good ones anymore.
Now, are we talking main card?
Main card. From 7 till what?
10:45.
You think it's going to be wrapped up by 11?
I think it's going to be about 3 hours and 45 minutes.
If it's wrapped up by 11, that'll be great. I think it actually goes over. I think it does. It's one of their big ones. They're not pushing it as much as they pushed WrestleMania for 24 hours, but, Hey, well, we have time to wrap this up because somehow we got under the hour and a half mark, and I don't know what the hell I did. Collar and Elbow. Hats, hoodies, tees, all your fan apparel. There's new merch on there all the time. I got my new Macho Man shirt. It's pretty freaking badass. I can't wait to wear it at WrestleCade. Maybe get a picture with Al when we're down there. But nonetheless, when you go to check out, use the promo code CANCRUSHERS. You'll get 10% off your entire order. Capital C in Can, capital C in Crushers. And when you do that, like I said, you save 10% off your order and you kick some money back to us to buy beer or put gas in the car to go to WrestleCade. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's all at CanCrusher69. Continue to do the old emails and send us in. We did get some this week, but with the Cornette and Kelly Klein stories, come on, we knew that's what you wanted to hear anyway. So that just kind of trumped even answering an email from Jason Dixon or Tom or Dick or Harry or anybody else. Check out our website as it continues to get refreshed all the time. cancrusher69.wixsite.com/cancrushers. You can find us everywhere that spot... I cannot talk. I'm still drunk, by the way.
But he didn't pass out.
But I did not pass out. Anywhere podcasts are, iTunes, Spotify, Buzzsprout, the WrestlePost app, all of that, we're on them. Like I said, this weekend we are heading down to WrestleCade, and the English professors now sent me a list to try to get him some autographs.
I got to say, English professors, how much is it worth to you?
Two big events that we're going to in December already is one, December 7th, IWC, second annual Pittsburgh Pro Wrestling Classic. And we're going to have some IWC guys coming on the podcast here over the next couple weeks to actually talk about this. And then, again, that you heard Cyril early in the show, December 14th, Code Red Wrestling and Asylum Wrestling presents a Christmas for Our Own, a benefit for the Yorns family. Guys, the GoFundMe page is attached to, everything. Help them out. Come to the wrestling show. $15 gets you in the door, and $15 goes right into the Yorns family. Help them out. It was nice having Cyril down and spending some time here with us the other day, and I know Chad is also going to, do some giving and stuff. We're going to get, I'm thinking, since we're going to be down at WrestleCade, maybe grab an autograph or two from said person here or there or whatever, maybe if we have some extras, and throw a goodie bag or like a basket together to do a raffle at the show.
Hey, send us, listeners out there, send us what you'd like to see. But if we do a basket together of autographs and stuff, who would you want to see?
Yeah.
Who would you want to have?
Right. You guys are going to be the ones that have a chance to win it if you come to Asylum.
And also something keep in mind we can put in with this basket if we get requests and stuff. What kind of memorabilia would you like to see? Some older shirts that are going to be on sale, some vintage magazine. Let us know what you'd like us to look for down there, because there's literally going to be
vendors,
tons of stuff. Now, don't think you're getting a replica title belt.
Yeah, that's not happening.
We'll take a picture of one and maybe cut it out on paper for you.
Put the picture in the basket.
That's about the closest you're going to get to that. But this is
an autograph here or there, something like that, or a shirt. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably spend $100 on this basket. That's a couple autographs, two shirts, something like that. I'll throw this basket together, and then when you come to Asylum and Code Red Wrestling, a Christmas for Our Own, the benefit Yorns, thing, it'll be there so you can win it.
It sounds good. Like I said, let us know what you'd like to see.
Yeah, send us the old email. So, all right, guys, you have minimal minutes before the old Survivor Series is starting, so we'll see you next week to see how bad we did on our predictions.
How bad Mark did.
And we will actually be recording in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Yes.